Have you ever wondered how much it would cost to do the brakes on your own Porsche 911S? Or are you tired of spending thousands of dollars every time you need maintenance on your Porsche after you've done a canyon run with them? Well, in this upload, I'm gonna show you how easy it is, how to save thousands of dollars, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it yourself in about 10 minutes or less. So let's dive into this week's brake job on a Porsche 911S. So you have a 911S and your front brakes are squeaking. What do? Well, it's pretty simple. You go to your local parts store or online retail store and you purchase new brake pads for it. Huh?
I'm a tomato.
Oh, you're a tomato? Or you can pick up the phone, call your local automotive shop, and then they do it for you. But if you want to save a ton of money, at least probably $200 to $300 on this, you can do this all by yourself with some pretty basic tools. You'll have learned how to work on your own car. So let me show you how to do this. The tools you guys are gonna need to do this, very minimal. I've already did this side, so I've got everything kind of sitting here on the ground. You're gonna need an impact gun, a 19mm socket just to get the wheels off. You can do this with other like 4 ways, any number of methods there. I have a wheel stud tool to reinstall the wheel, center punch, a hammer. I only have a body tool so that we can remove brake wear sensors. You're gonna need some sort of tool to collapse the brake caliper back together. Now that we know what kind of tools we need, now we need to know where to put the jack, right? I mean, come on, it's a Porsche, so guarantee you there's some special spot underneath of it that's made specifically for it. They're not just gonna put a pinch weld underneath there. That'd be too American. When you first get down underneath your Porsche, you're gonna see a little dimple right there, and that's just indicating like where to jack it up, sort of. Don't just stick your floor jack right here. If you get underneath of here, that point right there is where you can put your floor jack. Guys, if you want to know more about Volkswagen's, Audi's, LS things, Porsche things, ripping motors out of car things, so I'm pretty sure I got the range of reasons to subscribe to an automotive channel covered. I guarantee you somewhere out there, somebody probably makes some attachment that goes on your floor jack and has a pin and it like, boop, right up in there. And I'm sure Porsche has one too. But I promise you, if you put your floor jack dead center on there, you're gonna have 0 problems. And the time has come. Now there's no particular order that you need to take your luggage. Just get them off there. Now a little pro tip that you can do is with your wheel stud tool, before you take the last lug nut out, go ahead and stick your wheel stud tool in the hole like that, and then you take your last lug nut off. That way your wheel don't just accidentally fall off, you scuff the face of it, like somebody's already done on this one. At one point it has been laid down on its face, you can see it right there, or they bumped into something. And there you go, now you have access to the brakes. All right guys, so we gotta remove these little sensors right here. These are the wear sensors. They just go right down into those little holes. It's really easy to remove these things. So, I'm gonna make sure that you get it off of there before you try to pull it out. And I would recommend getting it out of there as well. And I'm just gonna use these little needle nose pliers here and just pull it up on both sides. Be careful now not to move the plastic. There's like a plastic clip that kind of holds it all together. And just set that off to the side. You're gonna want to remove this cotter pin that's right here. Take that guy out. Don't lose it now. All right, so now that you got all that taken off, we got to knock this pin out. Now this pin is going to be under a little bit of tension. Don't worry, it's easy to put back together. But when you get it halfway through, you're going to have to like wiggle it. You'll see when we do it. You need a hole punch, center punch, right, Mikey?
Huh? What?
Center punch. Name that tool. Basically, you're just going to tap that, go through there, it'll come out. So, pretty easy. Set the camera back down, do it. Can't do all this stuff one-handed, so. This is super technical, people. Super technical here. I feel like Jeremy Clarkson right now fixing it with a hammer. And you can just pop over the ledge just like that. And pull your pin out. You just put this guy in here. Now they make a lot of different caliper compressors. And then the very difficult task of sliding our brake pads out. Oof. Backing plate looks awful. Woo, there we go. Now these pads aren't necessarily bad, they're just very old and the customer wants them replaced. So we're gonna go ahead and replace them anyways. Now you have your new brake pads that you got. They make backing like squeak lube, anti-squeaking lube, stuff like that. I have some right here. I'm just gonna stick a little bit on there just like that, nice and yummy like. Oh yeah. Now you wanna be careful now. You don't wanna get it on the pad itself. Now that we got that all lubed up, I'm just gonna stick it right down into that slot and then rinse and repeat on this one. And then just slide. Now you got your retaining clip and your pin. Now the thing you're gonna wanna make sure to do on your pin is take note of where the cotter key goes back into it. So make sure you're gonna have access to it because you might put it in like this and not be able to get to it. We're gonna wanna orientate this thing even with the caliper. So it's gonna sit like that. So your bolt hole right there, well, bolt hole, cotter key hole, pin hole, whatever, I don't, that thing is gonna be sitting like this. And just put your retaining clip in there. Should just be able to slide it across. Give it a little tap tap. Take your cotter key, cotter pin, push it back in like that, and then reinstall your harness, wear harness sensor. All right, well, congratulations. You got your brakes done. Now it's for the hard part. Let's get the wheels back on the car and get this thing on the ground. All right guys, so if this is your first time that you've ever tried to do the brakes on your car, there's something you need to know. There's something that you should need to know about doing brakes on your car. And that is, do not jump in the car and instantly start it and put it into gear. No, don't do that. That is bad. You could easily wreck your car. More so, get in and instantly pump the brakes before you even start it. What did I do with my keys? Then start the car after you got the steering wheel lock off. Go ahead and throw it in reverse and make sure they work. Perfect. So the last thing you want to take care of before you go ripping around the canyons again, now that you just put brake pads on your 911S, you need to seat the brakes. So get out on the road, do some brake checks, 40 to 0, 3 or 4 times, and your brake pads should be well seated. Overall though, this job was extremely easy. I would give this a 1 on the easy scale. I think I could train my 4-year-old boy. I could definitely, my 15-year-old son could do this job. 0 questions asked. I could probably show him this video that I'm getting ready to edit and he could do it.